Nice.
So you guys need some space to move around. That's more important than anything else. Let me get this. Okay, so start with feet together. We almost always start with something where you're just like rooted down to the ground and moving the spine. So the spine's like your center. So I always focus on moving the spine first. So start feet together with a little movement in the knees, chin to the chest, roll down super slowly, and then walk the hands out to a plank. Don't worry about speed. Just whatever feels good. Drop the hips and go chin up to the ceiling. And then bring the hips back up. Walk the hands back to the feet. Bend the knees. Roll back up again. Head's the last thing to come back up. Go through like 4, 5, or 6 of those. It should just feel good. So whatever speed feels good for you. Chin to the chest. Roll down. I promise we'll start to move a little quicker here. This is just to kind of like remind the body that it's going to be moving here in a little bit. Hips down. Root the feet down. Think about how the spine's moving. So one vertebrae at a time. The head's always the last thing to come back up. Chin to the chest. I have all these people in the waiting room. Whoops. I'm supposed to be monitoring this. There we go. All right. Nice job. So you guys should just be moving and feeling good. 4, 5, or 6 of these. Nice job. Nice. So we're going to work on mobility and balance today. A lot of balance work. You guys probably have no problem just balancing on one leg. So I'm going to throw some curveballs at you so that we can kind of challenge your balance, because it's not fun if it's just easy. I got some music on too, so let me know if that's like overriding what I'm saying. All right, when you're done with those, let's start going into our balance drill. So balance on one foot. I always talk about this like a balance beam. So imagine you're on a balance beam, reach the toe out as far forward as you can on the ground, and then reach the fingertips as far down on the ground on that balance beam as you can. So you're going toe as far forward as you can, and then fingertips as far forward as you can. Go through 8 of those on one side, 8 on the other. So again, just imagine you're on this balance beam and you have like a little bit of like paint on your toe, and you're just trying to put a dot of paint up ahead, and then a dot of paint with the fingertips up ahead. So it should feel like you're relying on the quad for the foot reach forward, and like you rely on the hamstring for the fingertip reach forward. So go through 8 of each of those. This should be relatively easy.
If we walk outside, it's a riot, you know? We couldn't even it made me think about Philly.
Oh God, don't get us started on that.
Nice. Nice. All right, same thing on the other side. Think about just rooting the foot down into the ground. Toe reaches forward. If the toe goes forward, something else has to go back. So shoulders go back, toe goes forward, and then switch fingertips. Again, it should feel like there's just no pause. You're going straight from that toe reach forward to the fingertip reach forward. Nice job. Nice. Yeah, perfect. So think about your rectangle. So like shoulder to shoulder, hip to hip. You're always trying to keep shoulders even. So no tilt, no rotation. That rectangle is always staying even. Makes sense? 8 of each of those. We'll start having a little more fun with this, but we'll go ahead and just do kind of the basics to start. Nice job. All right, once you're done with each of those sides, we'll start going into hip openers. So these are probably what all of you runners need a little more of in your life. Whenever you're done there, no rush if you're not there yet, go back to what we started with, feet together, chin to the chest, walk the hands out. And any of my athletes know we do this a lot. So go regular straight arm plank and go into a wide foot step. So you're just trying to bring the foot up right next to the hands and then right back to that straight arm plank. If the leg can only come out wide and it can't come all the way up to the hands, no problem. That's just, you just have to work towards that. So the foot goes wherever is a hip opening move to you, and then switch sides. So go through 10 of those total. That's only 5 on each side. Just big, what are they, like alligator steps, Spider-Man steps. 5 on each side, 10 total. Nice job. These should feel good. So if any of this movement hurts or is giving you issues, we got to reconfigure it. It's all supposed to just make the hips feel good and open and hit this range of motion that you really don't hit in running, okay? 5 of those on each side. And then when you're done there, walk the hands back to the feet and stand up slow. So we're gonna keep getting creative with that. All right, you're back to your balance, single leg deadlifts. So now what you're gonna do, we're gonna switch where the eyes are. So you were probably always looking down at the ground when you sent the toe forward and when you sent the fingertips forward. So this time we're gonna keep switching it. When the toe goes forward, eyes go to the ceiling. When the fingertips go forward, eyes go to the ground. Okay, so that forward reach with the fingertips is probably the same as you were doing previously, but that forward reach with the toe, you're now gonna take the eyes up to the ceiling. Okay, go through 8 of those. Eyes down to the ground, fingertips reach forward, eyes up to the ceiling, toes reach forward. And it should feel like this move that was otherwise pretty easy and a boring way to start this whole thing is now a little more challenging. Our eyes don't like going up. So we do this so that you can get more comfortable with being aware of where your body is in space without just relying on the eyes telling you where things are. Okay, so we're just trying to build this strength between the brain and the body. Pretty simple. Yep, you're just balancing, fingertips reach down and eyes are down. When the foot reaches forward, eyes go up. Yeah, perfect. Nice, should feel good. It's a little challenging. Everybody looks a little drunk. That's all right. You look cooler than you think. Good. Yep, trust that leg. So think about where the weight is in the foot that's on the ground. Is it in the toe? Is it in the heel? Is it on the outside edge, inside edge? How is that foot rooted down? And I would suggest being barefoot. If you're in shoes, go for it, that's fine. But having the foot on the ground can really help kind of reconnect to make the toes fire. The toes become these like passive little things once we get these big clunky shoes on. Socks can go up too, follow Parker's lead. Bare feet. Yeah, perfect. All right, so once you're done with those 8, let's go back to the plank hip openers. So you always start the plank, feet together, chin to the chest, roll down, walk the hands out to a plank. So you're in this regular straight arm plank. Yep. So now we're gonna get a little fancier. Step the foot wide and see if you can just shift the weight over that leg and pick the hands up for half a second. Hands go back down to the ground. You return to that straight arm, straight leg plank. Bring the other leg up. Remove the hands for just a split second. Just so you can get this wide hip opener. And now you're asking that hip to hold the weight of the upper half of the body. Yep, 5 of those on each side, 10 total. Trust that the leg will hold you. The glute, hip, and lower back all fire to just keep the upper half of the body kind of hovering over the ground. Nice job. Good, 5 on each side. And then like always, walk the hands back to the feet and stand up slowly. Perfect. All right, so going back to that single leg deadlift, told you we get a little fancier. So this time when the fingertips go down to the ground, go straight down to the ground. So you're not trying to reach out in front, you're just going straight down to the ground. That balancing knee should be bent a little bit. From that position, see if you can just straighten out the leg a little bit, come back to the bent knee, and then come all the way back to neutral, okay? So balance on one leg, that knee is a little bent, fingertips go down to the ground, my balancing knee is bent, try to bring the hips up as high as you can, bend the knee back to where you were, and then press through that leg back up to standing. Try to go through 10 of those. Bend the balancing knee, so you're in this like kind of single leg squat. Hips come up, hips go back down, press up through that leg. Do like 8 to 10 of those. If at some point 8 just seems more reasonable, go for that. 8 on one side, then do 8 on the other side. It should feel like a big ask out of that leg. Check to see if your hands are helping. A lot of times we use our hands to just kind of help like push us off the ground. It's really nice that the body is trying to help us out, but it's not necessary. So tell the arms, we don't need you. This is for the legs. Nice. That single leg, fingertips go down into that crouch position, hips up. You can also always do this with like yoga blocks. If the hands won't go all the way to the ground, you can even put the hands like on a chair. Anything to just give you a little bit of stability. Bend that knee, send the hips up, back to that crouched pose, and then quad takes over to push you all the way back up to neutral. So you're balancing on one leg, bend down, fingertips go down, hold down here, hips up, back to bend, and straighten out. So we just added like a little bit of fancy work in the middle of your single leg deadlift. Nice job. Perfect. Nice, it should feel good and challenging. You should feel challenged. Points for having dogs coming into the view, and kids. We have one dog and one kid already make a cameo. Oh, and a cat. Anybody got a fish or like a hamster or like anything else they want to show off? Nice job. All right, when you're done with those, you're back to your plank. So feet together, always start out the plank that way, feet together, chin to the chest, roll down slowly, and you're going back to those monster steps. Rather than just taking the hands up for a second, bring the upper half of the body all the way up. So at the top of that move, my shoulders are stacked right over the hips. Hands go back down, return back to plank. Wide step, keep the hips low. Ask the lower back to just pull you up until shoulders are stacked over the hips, and then right back down. Hands back down, regular plank. This is probably one of my favorite moves. It just asks a lot out of the hip. And once you get into that wide hip opening position and you ask the lower back to kind of bring you up into this vertical spine, there's nothing that gets to help out. The lower back gets to check out a lot, and all these other muscles will help kind of kick in. In this instance, it's like just the lower back helping. Nice job. Go through 5 on each side, 10 total. The kid misbehaving in the video is mine, in case you're wondering. Nice job. Nice work. All right, once you're done with those, we're gonna get some more movement into these hip openers. So starting with the feet together, you want some space to the right of you whenever you're ready. You're going into this big wide lunge forward reach, like you're bringing that heel in to make a big circle like this monster step. Does that make sense? Bring the leg in, circle it around, land on it, reach forward. Bring the leg in, circle it around, reach forward. Go through 5 on one side, 5 on the other. We're gonna go through a bunch of different reaches for this, so 5 will be plenty. And then you'll do the same thing on the other side. Think about just asking the hip adductor to fire to pull the leg in, hip flexor fires to drive the knee up, and then you send the leg out and kind of stomp down onto it. Reach forward and repeat. You're just making this big circle. Like you're stepping over something right next to you. Get the knee up high, land on it, and just make it a smooth forward reach. 5. Once you're done with 5 on each side, you're doing the exact same thing for the legs, but now we're gonna change what the upper half of the body is doing. So now you're gonna lean. So then bring this knee up, same thing, but when it lands, you're leaning way over to the side, okay? Bring that leg in, up and over, lean. Bring the knee in, up and over, lean. So it should feel like this big stretch for that rib cage. Nice job. See if you can make it this big fluid movement so there are no sticky spots. Any point where you pause, you're trying to work to just smoothly go through. Same thing on the other side. 5. Check that side lean is, I almost imagine that there's like an imaginary piece of glass in front of me. So I can't lean forward and I can't rotate. It would be better to just have this tiny lean and stay true to that plane of motion than it would be to have this big lean, but I had to collapse forward. So you're trying to just have this true to the frontal plane lean. All right, and then last variation, whenever you're ready, legs are still doing the same thing, but now we're gonna add a rotation. So that knee comes up and over, and imagine you're trying to reach the opposite arm up and over. So if it's my right leg that's coming up, I'm reaching my left arm way over it, as far out to the side as I can. Yeah, nice. See if you can make that one big fluid movement that like sweeps in. So again, that hip adductor is being asked to pull in. Hip flexor drives the knee up. Quad decelerates that catch. Oblique pulls you from that rotation, and then it all happens again. Same thing on the other side, whenever you're ready, no rush. 5 on each side. This is the third of 3 rounds. So done with this little combo after this. Nice job. All right. When you're done there, we'll go back to your plank. Feet together, chin to the chest, roll down, walk the hands out. Going back to that big wide step. This time you're gonna do 2 things. So wide step, that's not one of the things. We'll do two things once this leg's out here. Rotate towards that leg, that's 1, and shift weight towards the leg, that's 2. And then come back to neutral, hand goes back down, foot returns to the other foot. So it's a wide step, rotate towards that knee, and then just shift the weight over towards that leg as much as you can. And then come back to neutral. 5 on each side, 10 total. Again, you can just make it this big connected move. Almost like you're trying to bring the chest to the knee. Up to the ceiling and return. Nice job. See if you can connect the breathing with the movement. So exhale, open up. Good. Well done. Should feel good. 5 on each side, 10 total. When you're done, stand up slowly. And we have another vision drill for you. Nice job. All right, balancing or rooting down the left leg, I should say. That right leg's just gonna take a step forward and a step back. So don't worry about counting what you're doing. Just think of it like this little tick-tock. You're just going step forward, step back. Just this quick step, like a pivot step almost. All right, keep going with that. Now, here's a trick. The spine, the upper half of the body should move, it just slides forward and slides back. Different than what we were doing earlier where we were leaning forward and leaning back. So if I couldn't see the lower half of your body, it would just look like you were getting pushed forward, pulled back, okay? So keep that movement going. Keep the eyes forward. So eyes are just locked out at something in front of you at an eye level. That quad's gonna get tired here in a bit. I know that. Don't worry about counting. Just keep moving that leg. You're gonna do like 100 of these. Then turn the chin left and look left. So you're looking like 90 degrees to your left. See if you can not rely on necessarily knowing where you are in space based on what you see, and instead just take the input from the eyes and throw that away and just think, how does it feel where my foot is rooted in the ground? How does it feel where my hips lining up? Good. And then look right, eyes right. Nice. So now you're at eyes right, chin right. Then switch to chin up, eyes up. Told you we had a lot of these. You're more than halfway through. And then finally finish with eyes closed. And see if you can just think about how it feels to hit the ground, what part of the foot hits first, what part of the foot takes off first. Last 3, 2, 1, and then switch legs. Take a free leg. It should feel like that quad got a little work. So starting with your fresh leg now, same idea. You're doing those quick step forward, quick step back. Start with the vision forward, eyes forward, chin forward. Quick step forward, quick step back. So you're just putting like half your weight on that thing. It's not a full lunge. If you think about the level of the shoulders, they're staying at the same level the whole time. Very different than if I were gonna lunge forward and lunge back. Just slide forward, slide back. Now go chin right, eyes right. Good. Nice job. And go chin left, eyes left. Good. Nice. Go chin up, eyes up. Good. And eyes closed. Think about how the foot feels. Nice job. Last 5, 4, 3, 2, last one. Nice job. Do you guys do eyes closed? Some people did, some people didn't. I think I froze there for a little bit. Meh. Nobody wants to go back and do that anyways. Nice job. All right, so now you get to lay down. Lay down, find a little space that you can just have the knees bent, roll all the way back. Send the left leg straight out in front of you, fingertips straight up to the sky like zombie arms. And just think you're like snapping up and back down. So it's like a single leg V up. Just that left leg is coming up and then roll back down. Just that left leg comes up, roll back down. Yeah, perfect. Good, you're going through 10 of these. Use as little swing as possible with those arms. It's a lot easier if you have arms over the head, so if you need a little oomph, go for that momentum. Otherwise, try to just keep the fingertips pointing straight up towards the ceiling. Don't use the swing. And you'll do the same thing on the other side. Whenever you're ready. Other leg, 10 sit-ups. This is an important one to connect the breathing with as much as you can. Breathe out on the up. And then take a deep breath in when you roll back down. Exhale up, control back down. Exhale up, nice job. Go through 10. Good. When you're done with those 10, feet flat, knees bent, and press the hips all the way up. So you just have this big bridge. You're making this big triangle. Feet are wider than shoulder width apart. Imagine somebody just hits your left hip and your hips jut out to the right. And then reverse that and go to the left. So I'm just doing this slide. Slide right, slide left. Slide right, slide left. Keep the hips up as high as you can. Do a couple more of those in each direction. We're just trying to slide the hips, keep the glutes engaged. And once you feel like you can start to feel the hamstrings, drop the hips down, one foot planted, one leg straight out. When you lift the hips up, lift the leg up. When you drop the hips, drop the leg. So hips and leg go up, hips and leg drop down. And go through 10 of those pretty quick. Think about momentum on the way up. So we're trying to make the glute fire quick and then control on the descent. Exhale quick, control descent. Nice job. Go through 10 of those. And then switch, same thing on the other side. 10, it should feel uber isolated to that glute and hamstring. Same thing on the other side, easy transition. One foot down, one leg out. Push the hips up, leg goes up, drop the hips, drop the leg. Everything goes up quick, control down. Everything goes up quick, control down. Nice job. 10 of those. Think about pushing through the heel. Anytime you have weight in the heel, that's signaling to the posterior chain to fire. Nice job. One more thing after this. Go back to feet rooted down, hips up. And now think about just dropping one hip and then raising it back up and dropping the other hip. So you're just doing this big rotation with the hips. One hip stays up high and one glute just gets to like release. And then it fires slowly to bring the hip back up and then it drops. Do 10 on each side. Twist right, twist left. Twist right, twist left, 10 on each side. Nice job. Last thing. Excellent work. All righty, when you guys are done, you are done. We will keep doing this every Wednesday, 5:30 to 6. We'll start doing some more kind of fun vision drills. I have some fun things planned for you where I like hold up arrows and your brain has to see the direction rather than just hear it. We're all so auditory and it kind of switches it to visual and then it's fun. We'll start to have some games where you'll have to like just stay really engaged. Email me if you have any questions or email Brent or anybody else who you think wants to listen, and give me some ideas about what you want to do. If you want more abs, if you want more balance, if you would prefer to have me talk more or less, I like to kind of engage you so you know generally why we're doing what we're doing, but maybe you would rather have music, so I can take a hint. That's it for today. We'll see you guys next week. Well done, proud of you guys. Nice work.
Valerie, that was great.
Your Wednesday.